You've reached the Union and Metro Street podcast, where we discuss the San Diego music scene of the late 80s and all of the 90s, from the shows we worked to the shows we played. Here we go. So who do we have with us today?
Sammy the sound guy.
Hi.
Which, Sam, you want to introduce yourself? And
I'm Sam Castellano. I did SOMA for probably 14 years, bringing in the sound systems for the main stages. And in Metro, I did some of the side stage shows, the bigger side stage shows that I brought in a rig, and still doing it, still bringing in PAs and mixing tons of shows, and they're a little bit more relaxed now. A little bit more relaxed.
just a little.
Yeah.
It's called old age.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, but anyway, we were talking earlier, and yeah, I remember I started SOMA when I was like 24.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be 60 this year. So was a wild ride, wild time. A lot of work, a lot of sweat, and made some great friends, great connections. You know, both of you guys. Both of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had a bunch of great people working with me and for me. And, you know, I want to give a shout out. You know, Mike Clois, one of the best guys around, still doing great shows. Bob Phillips, who one of the smartest guys, hardest working little guys. Unfortunately, he passed away, and truly missed.
Yeah.
Then there was Big Eric, who could frickin' move a house by himself, and he passed away last year, and another great loss.
Yeah.
And then my ex-partner John Volk, who still doing his stuff, doing a lot of corporate stuff. We worked together about 3 weeks ago on a show, and it was nice, you know. And so, yeah, just still plugging along. Music is life.
Yeah. And then we did the one show up at, oh God, what was that? An outdoor show. Why can I not remember?
San Marcos.
There we go. And so there's that got the one picture floating around of the three of us at the board.
Yeah, that was great.
And then who else was was it Adam?
Oh, yeah, we're bringing up Adam Neal from Metro Days and the SD Days.
Yeah, he was great. Little Adam. He's a hard worker, smart, witty, just fun to be around.
Yeah.
You know? He came up through the ranks of sweeping the floors to then he was like stage managing and doing sound and doing all the production. He went on to some really cool things, working for other companies and whatnot. And now he's a family and moved
to Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
And he was in a band. He was a bass player for the Scrimmage Heroes.
Yeah, that was great. That was fun, actually.
And the thing with the Scrimmage Heroes was they were signed to Off Ramp Records, which was John Pebsworth from Bucko Nine's record label that he started.
Right.
Okay. That was the first band he signed to the label. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I was never into the...
And then Mark Arnold from Big Drill Car was the guitar player for the Scrimmage Heroes at one point. So...
Yeah.
Big Drill Car played once, I believe, at Union.
There was so
I know my memory is still vague. But speaking of, so because I started booking shows in '89 on Union, but before that, like how I got brought into it is they were doing the Gothic Club upstairs.
Sure.
You know, with the DJ and all that. But before that, there was two shows? Danzig and Ministry.
They did those, yeah, and I did those shows, and I did Danzig one other show at a place called Rio's in Point Loma.
Right.
and really hated that guy. and
I thought this was going to be a love fest.
it is a love fest. Well, I mean, everybody who knows him knows what I'm talking about. And
I've met Glenn maybe 2 times.
Yeah, I think I did.
All right.
I think I ended up doing about 5 shows for him in different places. And finally, the last show I did for him, I just walked away and I went, no, I'll never work with that guy again, ever. He sucks. His band sucks. His crew sucks. As people.
Was it just attitude issues?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Full on LA, mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Rock star mentality.
It was so horrible.
I'm better than you.
Well, you are.
AKA I'm fake.
Well, I don't want to say fake because he did some great shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's no doubt about his music, but then it was just that fucking.
It makes it difficult to work with someone when they just come in with, "I'm already better than you. I'm in your house, and I'm going to treat you like garbage."
And you should always respect the house, no matter what.
And literally, when I worked with him at the very first time at Rio's, I wasn't even working that day. It was that old. It was my day off. I came in literally to get paid that day, and right when I walked in the venue, all the power went out in the whole venue. So I literally had to Mickey Mouse to get all the power back on. And this was back in the day where you had these big old fuses. The big fuses, and then the screw-in fuses.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't have any extras. So I was literally like putting wire between the fuses to make them work. Very unsafe.
Doing the paperclip tricks.
Very unsafe, but the show went on.
Fire marshal wouldn't be too happy.
No. In fact, the next day I was at...
Or any electrician for that matter.
Yeah, I was going to say the next day I was literally at electronics place buying...
Just to have backup.
Buying new ones and backups. Yeah. But I remember I saved the frickin' show, and I was there, and I told them beforehand, don't plug everything into this power.
Right.
Here's other power. And I told the guy that was working there that night to do so. And of course, they didn't do any of it.
So what was that, 87, 88?
That was, probably way back when.
That's when the first Danzig album came out.
And like I said, I was blown away because I pulled up to the club, like I said, just to pick up my paycheck. And I was like, what the fuck is all these people doing here? There was lines out the door. And then I get in, and like I said, as soon as I walked in, the power went dead. And I did everything I could to save the show. I put it up, and then his whole group of people was like, "Get out of here! What are you doing here?"
Oh,
yeah. I'm the guy that just saved the fucking show. Sorry, this is my shit. This PA is mine. So, and you brought in all this other stuff to accommodate you guys, and
basically that's when it went out.
Yeah, of course,
too much.
Of course.
Back in the day of bringing in enough for an arena when you're playing a club.
Yeah,
and expecting to use it all because that's part of your shtick.
Yeah, I mean, even the
wall of cabinets,
the Union SOMA, I used to go in there and have to tie power in just to have enough to power a PA.
Yeah.
So I'd tie into a breaker and add another breaker, and you do a 50 amp single phase, which just something simple. And then occasionally, when there was larger shows, we'd have to come in and do 3 phase, which is a whole nother animal. And I remember getting shocked one day and my finger going numb for about 3 months.
Damn.
The tip of my finger, which was great because I was a guitar player at the time too.
Yeah.
And I couldn't feel it. Couldn't feel it for 3 months.
Tony Iommi has nothing on you.
No, Tony, yeah. Yeah, plastic fingertips.
But because I never knew this. Out of all the years, I've known you since 89.
Yeah.
When did you start learning all the basics of electronics and being able to do that with sound and understanding?
Probably when
Just by the way, because sound is electric.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the fundamentals of it, sure. But no, I started getting into sound and stuff probably in 75. I think I was 13, and I started building my own radios.
Oh, okay.
You know, just a little Heath kit that you get for Christmas and whatnot. So I started soldering.
Radio Shack stuff.
And then I started learning about stuff because I had a PA when I was like 14, and I had these big Altec Lansing Voice of the Theaters that weighed like 300 pounds. No, they were about 170 pounds. And they had no power behind them whatsoever, but they looked impressive.
Right.
And so I started doing sound from when I was in high school. I was playing in a band, and then the rival band at the high school was like, "Hey, you have a PA. Can you come out and do our show?" "Yeah, man. How much you going to pay me?" You know? So I remember, "Mom, I got a gig. Can I throw the stuff in the back of the station wagon and you take me to the gig?" So yeah, that's what it was. Backyard parties.
And how much did they pay you?
I think I got $35.
Nice.
And back then,
That's a lot.
back then, man, it was great because I think I was getting like $5 a week for allowance, and I thought I was somebody.
Bragging.
Then.
That's
So when I got
bragging.
when I got 7 times as much for, $35 was a lot of money back then.
Oh yeah.
Well, how much did the PA cost?
I think I got it from one of my neighbors who I think I paid $100 for the speakers, for the 2 speakers. And so I saved for quite a while to do so.
Right.
And then I had a little 6-channel mixer, which, was basically a vocal PA.
Yeah.
And now, you could buy 2 little powered speakers and a little mixer and, carry it all in one trip.
Oh yeah.
So it's cool that the advancements in technology and whatnot, but I'm still a simple guy. Point A to point B, get it in, send it out.
Right. Yeah.
Input to output. And it's not always about volume. It's a lot of tone. And I've always tried to reiterate that to every band. It's not the space you fill. It's the space you leave.
Yeah.
That actually makes music of any kind. If you just keep bashing, your ears go numb.
Oh, yeah.
People get tired of that. But occasionally, if you do a break of any kind,
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people don't realize that it's all about the sound guy, because if you have a shitty sound guy, the band will suck.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said that I can make a good band sound great and an okay band sound good. The old line is you can't polish a turd. So somebody who can't play, can't sing, you're going to find that you're not going to be able to do much.
Right.
But I will say this, every single show, no matter how good you are, how well rehearsed, there's always moments of magic.
Because I've been to some shows where it seemed like the sound guy was deaf.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because all you heard was bass and nothing else.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that is, again, might come just straight from the stage. The bass player turns up and he's just going to push so much air that's all you hear.
And I'm talking about pretty big shows.
Sure.
Yeah. 2,000 seater and big name acts where their front of house guy is just blowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I've done some hardcore shows for 30 people in a small little venue.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've done shows for like 160.
Well, shit, you did some hardcore shows at SOMA at Metro
and those were great.
The side stage.
Those were great. I remember, as you mentioned, ministry and whatnot. I remember like doing I think it was I gotta think of who they were, but
well, we used to do things like Thrill Kill Cult and
yeah, I mean heavy stuff.
Well, that's more the industrial stuff, but
that's
if you're talking about like hardcore, it'd be like Earth Crisis, Hatebreed, those bands on the side stage, Strife.
Wow.
And back at Union, though, we did for a while there. We were doing a lot of the metal, like
it was
Deicide and Morbid Angel and Creator, and And the thing too is each room has its own dynamic. So if you're in a room long enough, you start to know, and you can start to. There's a science to it.
Yeah,
That's
there really is, and people don't understand that the temperature. Affects your sound,
and it affects the instruments.
But temperature,
humidity.
If the air's real hot, the air's thin.
Yeah.
So the highs are going to hit you super heavy. If it's cooler, it's going to be warm, nice.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, when it's cold, it's warmer.
Yeah,
because the air's thin.
Yeah.
And then when bodies come into the venue, they fill up the space.
Mm-hmm.
And then you always have certain pockets in the room that you're just like, what the hell is that sound?
Yeah.
Why is that doing that there? And of course, your speakers are, 100 feet away, but that's where they're settling. Mm-hmm. That's where all those sound waves hit each other and just go, fuck you.
Yeah. There's definitely places in all the clubs that were different. But then there's places like the Scottish Rite Center, which is just that giant hall. So it's
a cove.
You basically just have, immediate reflective surfaces where Union Street, we had the whole balcony going all the way around, the stairs, the foyer, but the balcony over the soda bar. So each one of those is a little spot where the noise gets picked up and different.
And see, I love the Union Street, the balconies. I like that. I never went up there often, but I did like that, and I like the energy of the people that were like leaning over into
behind the
those
band.
Are some
behind
of
the stage.
Yeah, it was behind the
pictures.
Kind of weird,
and it was cool. But it was cool because it felt like you were part of it. And
and whatever other venue has balcony behind the stage.
Yeah,
you don't see that anywhere.
No.
And it was the cool thing is the way that it was set up was directly underneath that was our backstage staging area. So when you were on the stage, you weren't looking down at, crap behind the band. You're looking drums forward. So it was like you were on stage, but you're 15 feet above it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 15 feet from the stage.
I remember a bunch of guys used to, stage dive off of that. Under the, and
I'm sure a lot of bands didn't really like having people behind them.
No,
above them.
It was energy.
I'm sure it was energy,
it was
but
tons of energy.
If you think about it now, I'm sure a lot of bands would want that.
And a liability nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you think that way.
We even had issues, probably at Metro and SD, where that certain bands didn't want anybody on stage either.
I know.
So, which really, to me, to do a professional show, you don't really want all these people on the stage. You want to see the band. You don't want to see the fans. Yeah. It kind of takes away from the show.
Yeah. I remember we did a side show at Metro, and I brought in a PA. I bring in all the mic stands, cabling, so it's all nicer stuff than what was in the
house
and on the regular side stage.
Yeah. That stuff got beat up.
Yeah, so I would bring in my stuff, and mind you, I used that same stuff for corporate stuff. So I kept good care of it.
Oh, yeah.
Replaced stuff daily, it seemed. But I remember doing the sideshow, and I think it was the Ataris played. And at the end of the show, everybody rushed the stage. And there was probably 70 or 80 people on stage. And they started grabbing my microphones and putting them in their pocket. And I just went up there and I think
that was Millencolin. I don't think it was
Yeah,
Atari's.
yeah,
I think
that's what it was. That's exactly.
Yeah, and even the band was like freaking out.
Sorry, yeah, they were because everyone was trying to.
They're grabbing their stuff,
their guitars and guitar stands, and
wow,
because those guys. I ran into those guys probably like 5 years after that, and they're like, "Hey, we got you on video," because I was on the stage too, trying to keep everybody off. They're like, "We have a video of that. You're on stage with us, trying to get everybody off."
Yeah,
and
no, I cleaned house pretty good. I mean, I was grabbing people by the neck and pulling my mics out of their pockets.
Yeah,
and not violently, but
forcefully.
Because I know we had a couple shows that people would get up on the stage, and it'd be Mike and I on the stage trying to keep people off.
Yeah.
Like I know we did that for Earth Crisis. We did that for AFI.
Yeah,
where both of us were up there keeping
right.
And then Jesus Lizard, I had to sit next to the bass player on the side stage because he had a broken leg, and I had to keep people off of him. He was sitting in a chair playing bass.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, crazy times, and again, boils back to energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, you push that out, and I don't really fault a lot of the people from the audience doing that because they get caught up in the you know.
I was going to ask you, so you were there for all of Union Street.
All of Union.
And then you were at Metro until Golden Voice took over.
Exactly.
And do you remember the last show you did before Golden Voice took over?
I really don't, because I do so many shows. But I remember you and I talking and going, I don't think they're going to hire me to do any of this stuff anymore.
They brought Dave Radd in.
Yeah, which was fine.
And they actually flew the PA. So because remember back in the day, it was
all ground
for the
stuff.
main stage. It was industrial. We'd have to do the load in, load out.
Yeah.
And then you had your stuff that lived, your subs and stuff lived at SOMA on the side stage.
Sure.
And then when Golden Voice took, because I guess they had to deal with Dave, so they brought in their sound, and it lived at the venue.
Sure.
And we were never doing load in and load out after that.
Oh, that the load in and load out at night was horrible, especially if there was someone else.
When you're there for 15 hours and you're just...
And that's why I mean, I miss Sammy not being there, but it was cool not having to load in and load out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But for
everything was flown.
Yeah. For me, like I said, I would use that same PA at a smaller scale to do 4 other shows.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes you'd come in
making real money
and take your subs, and then come
I
back.
mean, I would take everything, and you'd I'd go out and do corporate shows.
Yep.
And you're going, wait a minute, I got paid X amount to do SOMA, and I'll do this other gig that this PA from SOMA, I get split it up and make 10 times money.
So basically, you were with SOMA from 86 to 98.
It was it was about 14 years. So 98, 99, somewhere.
Well, 98 is when we sold it to Golden Voice.
Yeah, that's what it was. But it was cool. I mean, and I got along really, really well with you guys. And like I said, I appreciated. That's another thing that I want to say. Appreciation. I appreciated you guys. I appreciated all the people who put their heart and soul to making a show work.
Mm-hmm.
And
because we killed it every time. You know,
we did.
We were professionals.
We were. I want to say we were the rock stars.
Even if shit hit the fan, we'd get in there and clean it up. So
and
literally sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh. We'll get into the whole story.
And then I loved the security guards at SOMA when we had ground control, command. Lawrence Misa, that guy was a freaking gentle giant, and just a great person. Overall, Mike Nemison, another.
Yeah.
Quiet, soft spoken, no bullshit,
Yeah.
And he'd always look hardcore and all that other stuff, and then you'd go up and talk to him, and he was just like
super cool.
Super cool.
Yep.
Yeah. But he wouldn't open up to everybody either.
No.
No.
But when he did, you knew
He was genuine.
That's my bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember inviting him to my wedding, and he came to my wedding, and it was like everyone kind of looked like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Well, he actually, I had a restraining order put against me from my ex-wife, and Mike actually came to the court to be a character witness for me.
For you.
Yep.
Well, okay. See, he's a stand-up guy.
Oh yeah.
I miss him. I miss him greatly. I mean, he's around, and
I seen him not too long ago.
There was a rumor that he had passed away,
Right.
and I felt heartbroken.
Yeah.
And then I found out, that
was a rumor I put out there.
Well,
because one of the kids that used to work at SOMA
sure,
told me that he passed away.
well, yeah, that's how it gets started.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like I said, Mike, if you're out there,
We love you.
we love you. I want to see you. I want to hang out with you. You had the freaking great band,
Oh yeah.
Dance Macabre.
Dance Macabre, great band.
DFA.
Yeah, just
Oh yeah. That's right. I forgot about DFA.
So-
But yeah, Mike's around. He's
yeah.
V and I, my wife's seen him down at the whatever motorcycle place down the street from me.
Okay.
And it was funny because I was skating by. I don't think I had Boogie with me, but I was skating by. Yeah, this is before Boogie. So I'm skating by, and I look over and I'd seen, he's parking a bike, and I seen part of his chest tattoo. He's got a shaved head now, and I'm like, is that fucking Mike?
Not just shaved head, shaved face.
Yeah.
He had that huge beard.
And so I see him. There's no fucking way. And he calls out, Jerm. I'm like, holy shit. Feels like right now. And I'm like, that is him. That's fucking him.
Yeah.
I finally get to see him. So we chatted for a little bit. And then V and I seen him again on the way back. And he's doing his thing. He's got a freaking nice bike. He does street bikes.
Of course
now.
he does.
And
he was always, he was always dressed well.
Yeah, he was always prim and proper.
Very, very. Yeah. And I mean, I remember he always took care of his shit.
Yeah.
His car, he pulls up. It's always.
Oh, my first car was his station wagon.
Okay.
And Len had purchased it, made the deal with Mike, and I drove around that thing. I mean, there's a bunch of bands been in that thing.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, and to me, Mike was there before I even got there.
Yeah.
So here comes this punk rock guy.
Yeah.
And I come in, there's, Mike, and he has that presence.
He does.
Hair's down to his ass, big beard, just a big motherfucker. And he's like, holy crap, what the?
Yeah.
This is a rocker, and I'm a punk rocker. But it just, once we got in, and then, you're there, and that's the same thing as we segue into some of the other intimidating motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Mike Clois.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah.
And again, a super nice guy. Don't
one
piss
of
him off.
the best.
The Claw.
I mean, I still call him Cold Claw.
Yeah,
and he still gives me that look like, what the fuck are you doing to him?
Yeah.
But the biggest heart.
Yeah.
And again,
super witty.
Oh yeah, he's
super.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I remember when you first started, Jerm, and the owner would say, "Little fucking rat-faced puke boy." So we would literally go around the club, "Puke boy, oi, oi."
Yeah.
And then we got stuck on. There was a comedian routine, John Panette, who did "You Go Mao." Guy is a big guy, and he had a comedy sketch about going into all you can eat Chinese food place.
Yeah.
And the owner would come out and go, "You go Mao, you'll be here for an hour. You big boy, why don't you eat vegetable?" So we would literally go around, and everything would be kind of quiet, quiet before the storm thing as we're setting up and stuff. And all of a sudden you'd hear, "Mao, Mao, you go Mao." Just either I would do it or he would do it. And you'd swing your head around like, "Look." But then we'd always do the,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That continued on to the Metro days.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And then tape ball fights.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
You know, you'd run a cable and you'd tape it down or something. So, you know, at the end of the night, you're wadding it up and and all of a sudden, boom, get hit in the head with a wad of tape.
And it's not just, a light toss. I mean, we have to, because
But I mean, it wasn't meant to be hurtful.
oh
And
no,
wasn't
it's meant to be
full
funny as
speed.
hell, and it
It
was.
wasn't meant to be full speed. It was kind of more of a pitch than a.
And the other
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
the other thing too, would be when Sammy was doing sound, he would doodle. And if you guys haven't seen Sammy's Facebook page, Sammy's quite the artist. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
waiting for him to start selling some art.
Oh,
have a little gallery there.
I sell a few things. I don't advertise or anything. It's just fun, and that's exactly what it is. It's doodle.
The cow for meat,
Yeah,
my band
yeah,
Meat.
Meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sticker. I remember having that sticker on the back of my truck. You know, and it was just something silly and
the cow heads
simple.
went on the shirt.
Okay.
And then because we did make a few shirts.
Yeah.
God, I don't even know who funded those, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'm still drawing and doodling almost every show, and I'm doing shows almost every night of the week now, even as an old guy. And they're like I said, they're mellower and easier.
Yeah.
So, and but I sit there and I grab a bar napkin or a stack of bar napkins, and I start doodling with a Sharpie, and I just give them to people.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! How do you get gray?"
It
out
is.
of a Sharpie?
I'd actually buy some art from you.
Well, good, because I
Incredible
need
stuff.
some dough,
I'd frame it.
dude. I'd give it to you.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, but I would
Gotta
give it to you.
gotta support my friends.
So people who don't know, Jerm has a skateboard company, skate products.
Yeah.
Red Rum. So, and I just brought him a couple of decks that he graciously gave to me to scribble on.
Yeah.
So, I just brought those back to him today, and I said, Jerm, please keep this one for yourself.
Oh yeah. That's one of the things. There's since starting the company, one of our things has been with V and I is if she really likes the artwork, well, I really like the artwork, then we'll post it and share it, but it's not for sale.
Yeah.
So hence why damn near every room in the house has something up on the wall. And I only have a few that are from friends, and those do not get sold. Yeah, I get your art up on the wall, but the deck's going to go up on the wall, probably across, above the TV so that we can stare at them. Because it's, all mine are hand painted as well.
Yeah.
But
Because I've even bought a deck from.
yeah,
I have a couple.
Yeah.
I have a couple
yeah,
hanging on my wall.
yeah.
Shoot, I'm a fat guy. I couldn't skate to save my life, but I've got the decks and I appreciate them, and
It's a great medium
it
for
really
doing
is. It really is.
for doing art. And now it's getting so much more acceptable as being
Yeah,
hanging wall art.
It's no longer street art.
Yeah.
graffiti-ish.
Yeah.
It's more as a true art form.
Yeah.
If you could make, back in the day, they used to weld junk metal
Yeah.
together.
Yard art.
Yeah, it was freaking amazing stuff.
Yeah, like my yard art, the toilet
Okay.
with the
Coffins,
orchids growing in it.
the mannequins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the coffins and mannequins. But that's me. Anyone that's seen pictures of the house, I just have more crap. I haven't changed much as I got older.
It's funny because when we do the podcast here, people that have never been here, they come in and they just trip big time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
blown away when they walk in.
But that's Jerm.
Yeah.
That is Jerm. He's a little bit off center.
Well, we're basically
a little,
artists,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit out there.
Yeah.
But again, creative spirit,
Yeah. I appreciate that.
yeah, man. It's
Anything to justify the chaos that goes in my head. But that's the thing.
the
That's
thing with-
when I got to SOMA back in '89 and started booking the shows. The great thing is tomorrow when we're doing another session, we have Chris Fields, who I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it. It started at Wiener Schnitzel. Everything for me getting into SOMA.
Okay.
So, and Chris and I used to work at Wiener Schnitzel. We both got fired together. So, but Ray Cam from Short Lived. Chris has done John Cougar Concentration Camp, Short Lived. He was in the Queers, and I believe he was in the Dwarves, and he's just an all-around musician.
Sure.
But so we're going to touch base in some of that stuff. But eventually what came to fruition was Lynn was looking for artists. Ray, who worked, was in Short Lived, worked at Gamma Gamma. Ray had told Len about me, and then Len had me contact, I believe it was John or John, because there was a John and a John. You know, they did the Goth Nights up at the main stage.
Yeah. You'd paint the sheets.
And that was the thing, they wanted another art. I never did one piece of art for SOMA ever, other than the signs, the set list. I never did any of the hanging art.
I got a couple of those sheets at home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from Metro.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never did even one piece of art. I mean, I did flyers. I used to do flyers.
Not only do I have a couple of the sheets, I also have the sign, the neon sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's, again, those times were pretty magical as far as just the chaos, controlled chaos.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it kind of was, controlled chaos. Yeah. And we didn't make a ton of money. We didn't get a whole lot of glory or any of that, but our hearts and our passions were in it.
Oh, yeah.
Every show's going to be great. As I said earlier, there's always moments of magic.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. That's still what I live for.
Yeah.
I worked with a band the other day, and they were not very good at all. I did so many eye rolls. Like, what the hell am I doing?
we did a lot of that back in the day as well.
What the hell am I doing here? But
yeah,
they hit this one thing that lasted about 15 seconds.
Right.
And I just went, fucking cool.
That's why I'm here. That's why I do this.
That's why I'm here.
Yep.
And so, for everybody out there who plays and puts sweat into it and, rehearsing, people don't even realize what it actually takes to get from point A to point B. And, the dreams of stardom and all that other stuff when you're young and anxious and you don't really know what it's going to take or to get you to that next level.
Right.
There might be 20 levels and you might only ever hit level 3.
Right.
But damn, when you were at level 0, level 3 was a pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Because
what's the quote? It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Journey, exactly.
I mean, I still consider myself on that journey. I mean, working with Jerry, doing this podcast, talking about it, and all the people. I mean, I get choked up. Sure. I get nervous. I go through a ton of emotions trying to set up the guest.
Yeah.
What am I going to say? Am I going to say the right thing? How are we going to have flow? But it just, I mean, back then, our heart's just in it.
Yeah.
So if your heart's in it, then you trust yourself. And it's like those shows, some of those shows when we would start off, we went through some shit. I mean, some serious shit trying to make things happen.
Well, it was a lot of stress, setting up for the show. And it's like, is this going to, every time we did a show, it was like, is this going to be good? Is this something going to happen? Like you're saying, controlled chaos.
Right.
We just didn't know what the outcome was going to be.
Without knowing what, it was scary.
Pre-sale. We didn't know what we were getting into.
Yeah. Bands.
Or how certain bands would show up. We didn't know what their attitudes were going to be.
Yeah.
Because, like Metro Street wasn't all that nice. It was kind of shitty, But
it was nicer than Union.
The Thunderdome?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, it was in a better location.
Well, yeah.
But I'm just saying there wasn't a lot of money that was put into the venue.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah,
But there didn't have to
bones.
be.
No, because it was kids.
I remember when that was being built, going in there and just going, wow, I didn't, at first I really wasn't able to visualize it.
So what was with Metro, what was it before it was made?
It was just
SOMA?
an industrial.
Was it just an empty space, or was it the whole thing?
No, there was actually walls.
Because you had House of Paul, the furniture store.
But it was spaced out, yeah.
Okay.
So it was
I remember what it was.
Spaces.
It used to be a photo lab.
Okay.
Right.
That's what it was. I forgot.
Yeah, because there was
and now the photo lab's in your pocket.
Yeah.
On the phone.
No.
Yep.
And
you know what's weird? When I was working at Metro, I was working at a photo lab.
Okay.
The Navy photo lab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At Miramar.
Yeah.
And that just like dawned on me.
Yeah.
That used to be a photo lab.
But so Jerry, we at Metro, you came in and like I said, you I don't want to say replaced Jeremy, but you came in and you took his role.
I'd say he stepped up and tried to,
and it was thrown upon you.
Really, yeah,
it was thrown upon you.
That's.
Jerm did this, and Jerm did this, and Jerm did this, and you're like, dude, I'm in the Navy, and I'm doing this because I kind of want to, I want to do it. I want to do the music, and
it's out of the passion.
And we overall, and I'll still say this to this day. I did not get in this business to do business. I got in this business to do music. So music is the overall thing. So like I said, when you came in, you got thrown into the fire, and a lot of times you were the fuel. Here, we're going to dump all this on Jerry, and Jerry, take care of it. And I remember you working your ass off to just make things happen and to try to keep it to where it didn't explode.
Yeah, and that's what we pretty much I think we all did.
We all did. But I remember you doing that, and you had a certain, even though I was older than you were probably more,
I acted older.
Grown up.
Well, he was more disciplined.
That's the word. Yeah. Discipline. You were more disciplined.
I figured that was from being in the Navy and having that structure. Yeah. Where when I started doing it when I was 21 years old, I wasn't wet behind the ears because the hair dye already dried.
Yeah.
But I didn't know shit.
No.
I went into it with, okay, I want to do this local thing. I want to bring in local bands. Oh, I know these bands. Oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
So there's just the whipping boy of whatever we did. But by then, you already had discipline. You
were regimented.
Well, you worked with me, so you knew kind of how.
Oh, well, see, I was a fan. I'd go. When Metro opened, actually, I was going to Union to watch shows.
Yeah.
And I was so bummed when Union closed. Ended up having to go to Tijuana to Iguanas to watch shows. And then when Metro opened, I was like, yeah. And then, so that 94, that end of 94, I was going to shows there, and then Jay from Spaz Boy is like, hey, you want to work Bad Brains? I'm like, hell yeah.
Who?
Hell yeah, I want to work. Yeah. And that's when I got thrown in the fire because I ended up, for some reason, and that was my first show working there, and ended up on stage because we thought there was going to be a riot.
Oh, that's right.
Because HR didn't show up.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of got thrown in the security field in a sense. But at that time, too, I was working for Staff Pro, so I had a guard card. I was probably one of the few people that worked at SOMA that had a guard card.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I originally, helping you with cleaning, loading in, loading out.
Right.
And then Lynn, when Cy quit, because actually I was doing security in the back for the backstage area, not allowing people to go back there for the bands on the double doors.
Yeah. That was nice
by the
because
soda
finally
bar.
I didn't have to do that as well.
Is that when Big Jerm was there too?
No, this was long before Big Jerm.
Yeah.
So Big Jerm wasn't even there. Big Jerm didn't start until I became the doorman.
Yeah.
After Cy left. And Lynn, that's
Big
when
perm.
Lynn was like, "Oh yeah, you're going to get paid now. You're going to be the doorman." And because all the time before, I'm like, I just wanted the shows for free and meet the bands. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Plus, I was in the Navy. I was collecting a check.
As I said, when you came in, you did have
professional attitude.
Yeah, way more. and nothing against you, Jer, but he brought it. And like I said, I was older than him, but you were way more advanced as far as that. You had more of a
And I think a lot of people. I was
more of a just here. Let's get it done.
Yeah, I think a lot of people too were like, hey Jerry, you have like
you had a vision.
Well, not only that, my personality. I was a people person.
Yeah,
so I could deal with everybody.
Yeah,
even though I hated dealing with a lot of people.
Well, but if you have enough time, you're going to find out that everybody has a story, and some of them don't have an avenue to tell their story. So you don't have a whole lot of time to sit there and find out who everybody is, and you just deal with what's in front of you at the moment.
Right.
But if you do take that time, you're going to find out that people are pretty freaking amazing. Everybody's got something. Everybody does.
Yeah, some people are pretty amazing assholes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Leave me out of this. No. No, I've always said this. I'm a nice guy, and I don't like to yell. I don't like to scream. So if you ever see me yell and scream, something serious.
Well, yeah, and you didn't actually. I don't think you had any issues there. I think all the more problems were at Union.
No, I did.
So.
I did.
Did you? I don't remember you getting heated.
All the freaking time.
Huh.
There was a different class of,
but it was a different thing.
We were babysitting.
It felt more like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Union felt more raw. Way raw.
Yeah.
And nobody was going to drop their kids off at Union.
No.
Well, back then you had to be signed in if you were under 18. That's one of the first things I did. Like, again, being thrown into the fire, I was booking shows. The first couple shows I booked, and I stayed at home, and I just checked in with Len to find out how they went. Yeah. Because the dungeon was just starting to become like the thing. So to have me there and give me a purpose instead of just walking around.
Because, to be honest, my first time going to Union, I was afraid.
Were you really?
Yeah. I was.
Wow.
The crowd, everything about it, it was just, it was dark.
I was more afraid of the actual area.
Yeah, the area was scary too.
Than the club itself. Because once I pulled into that side fenced area,
right, I was
fine. That was my domain.
Yeah.
But just driving downtown, was kind of, there wasn't back then. There wasn't as many homeless, but the homeless that were out were scary people. They were a lot of mental illness and whatnot, and you just was like, man. I locked my doors as I was driving out of there.
Yeah,
if I'm stopped at a light, I used to have people come up and literally try to open my door. Stopped at a light just to, somebody going, hey, you got any money?
Yeah.
And now it's so common.
Yeah.
You're
right. There wasn't that many homeless people back then.
No, but like I said,
it's like 3 or 4 sketchy dudes walking around.
Really sketchy.
Yeah. And there's some other elements.
Really scary.
The liquor store down the street, I had to go down there a couple times to get beer for the rider or whatever. And me walking in there, so, at that time, leather jacket or bondage pants or whatever. Actually, the early days, I wouldn't have the bondage pants yet, but I always had, maybe I don't know. But we all know what I'd look like back then.
I liked the bondage pants.
But here I go, I'm walking in the place with the mohawk or whatever.
Basket.
Those were dogpiled, right? Oh, yeah. So by then, O used to get them from Miles. But when I was going down to the liquor store, not putting the lotion in the basket, but God, you walk into that liquor store and it's like you don't know if you're going to get beat over the head.
That was before the Smart and Final days.
Oh yeah, Fart and Smile. That made it a lot.
Because we always for the writer, everything was from Smart and Final.
Yeah. Lunch meats. I mean, it's still
soda,
a running joke.
Smart and Final.
That cup of potato salad.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
The lunch meats.
The vegetable tray.
Oh yeah.
Yuck.
I still like that stuff.
With the old broccoli.
I would still cater
The crappy ranch dip.
Yeah.
Wait, we have that in the fridge now.
Dude.
Fuck, I love that ranch.
Dude. How did we go from music to
Writers.
It just because it's just a conversation.
Because of the liquor store to Smart and Final.
Yeah.
And crack pipes.
Kind of progressed.
Oh, gosh.
And putting lotion in the basket because I'm wearing bondage pants.
Yes. Inflection.
When you're talking about lunch meat, I remember how that stuff was put on the tray, ripped right out of the package, flopped on the tray. Here's your lunch, your meat tray.
Doesn't it look appetizing?
I wouldn't touch that.
I put it on the fucking trays for him.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Straight out of the bag.
Doesn't
I
look
washed my
appetizing?
hands afterwards.
Yeah.
After you touch the meat.
Well, yeah, I didn't touch my meat, then that meat. Well, maybe. I mean, hey,
Okay.
I wasn't a caterer. Fucking these guys get food.
Yeah.
I don't get food. I'm going to be here for 12 hours.
But
God, I hope they're
who
good
does
tonight.
remember? Who does remember doing all those long days and just getting any food? Was like,
I don't know how we survived.
Well, that what was nice about Metro. We had all those restaurants by us, so we could just walk anywhere to get some food.
across the street, the taco shop and
Rice King,
King,
Domino's,
Carl's.
Yeah.
How we go through different things depending on how much I drank and how much I was hungover on. I mean, I had choices. If I was really bad, if it was one of those nights where...
And then we had 7-Eleven, too.
Yeah.
And Tio Leo's.
So I can get a Gatorade if I needed to. And Tio Leo's we would send bands to. And plus they had the clean toilet.
Tio's, better known as the Wrinkle Room. No. No, Tio's is a great place now.
Well,
I never went there. I never actually went there back in the day.
Well, we always did because that's where we went to use the bathroom, like Jeremy was saying.
Yeah.
We didn't want to use SOMA's
And
bathroom.
Didn't you take Ian or did I take Ian?
You
over
took
there?
Ian over there. I took Richard Patrick from Filter over there.
Yeah,
and then he had no toilet paper in his stall, and he was freaking out. So
I didn't go in with Ian. I'm just like, all right. Ian.
Luckily, I was in the next stall, and I threw him toilet paper underneath the stall.
Yeah.
I actually have a autographed Filter poster, and on there it says "Thanks for the TP."
I have the TP roll that's signed. No.
So
speaking of toiletries, so
we're good.
So the whole show, since we're talking about bathrooms and the reason why to take bands over to Tio Leo's.
Yeah.
The whole show, not the whole show, but
Yeah.
freaking women's bathroom, because they would get trashed. But this time they were flooding into the
side stage.
The side stage, and then I think it was even making it down to the main
AKA
stage.
the merch area.
Yeah. So I had to go in there and deal with that with the mop bucket. And
so who was bringing Courtney and Drew over to the Tio Leo's?
Were you doing that or
no? I wasn't working at that time.
Oh, that's right.
I was there.
Drew Barrymore was there. I forgot about that.
I didn't work that show.
Yeah.
They brought in.
So this is seriously just a toilet humor in my
that
own.
Because that was 94.
Yeah.
And it was Drew Barrymore was there. Veruca Salt was the opener.
Oh, that's right.
And
because Mario had a picture.
Yeah, I printed those up for Mario.
That's right.
With Drew and with Courtney Love.
Yeah, but that's another reason to take band members over to Tio Leo's, because it was just
privacy too.
Yeah.
Well, the owner of Tio Leo's, Frank, is a cool guy. Actually, I just got to know him in the last few years, and cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good situation. I used to take dates there when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah. But I didn't, I'm Jerm from SOMA.
Would you like some enchiladas?
They're from Smart and Final.
No, at Tio's.
Well, you remember too when we did the New Year's Eve shows, all the catering came from Tio Leo's.
Did it
Oh
really?
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Big old trays of basically it was enchiladas.
Yeah,
They were like wet burritos.
yeah.
So,
Oh man,
and then rice and
Now
beans.
I'm hungry.
That's my
for
new,
Mexican
that's my
food.
new band. Wet burritos.
Oh, I thought you were going to be rice and beans.
No, wet burritos.
Wet burrito.
Extra cheese.
Super cheesy.
Extra sauce.
That does sound so damn good. God. But okay, so let's go
Extra
back
sour
to
cream.
because we brought up the claw.
Yeah.
So at Union,
Yeah.
when who came in with you? Was that you and John in the beginning?
Well, it was John and I. Yeah. J&S Sound
That's
Systems.
right. Okay. So when did Mike come in?
Mike started working for us, and
Yeah, remember Mike was saying that they ended up buying him, basically? He became property?
no, I never wanted him to ever feel that way.
Well, no, but that's what when we did the podcast with
okay.
him, he was saying
Yeah.
that, they bought me, basically.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was really hungry to get in this industry.
Right.
And he was a great worker and he had great attitude, except he got a little violent once in a while.
Yeah.
And he learned not to do that.
Yeah.
Because, he was in that thing.
Yeah.
Always having to prove himself or whatever. But great guy. He brought Bob, like I said, who
That's
I miss
right.
completely.
That's right.
And I felt comfortable enough to go, here, Mike, Bob, you take care of the shows, and I'll go do some foo-foo gig and make tons of money.
Right.
So you're doing the corporate gigs and they're doing the
Yeah,
shows.
yeah. I mean, it was good. It was good, and I knew that it was going to be done well,
Yeah.
and I didn't have to worry about it. And in the early stages, like I said, all I had to do was worry about Mike getting pissed off.
Right.
Because he was loaded gun when,
Oh yeah.
Somebody
he wouldn't take no
pushed him the
bullshit.
wrong way.
He wouldn't take no bullshit. So, but like I said, fucking great engineer,
Mm-hmm.
Bob. We used to have fun. You couldn't work for us unless you were at least 200 pounds, 250 pounds. Big guys moving gear.
Yeah.
Bob came in soaking wet. He was probably 160 pounds.
Yeah.
But fucking little squirrely hustler.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was smaller than me, wasn't he?
Yeah. He probably about the
5'8"?
same. No, Bob was short, maybe 5'6", 7 tops, but thin. And like I said, what a great worker as far as
Absolutely.
And Mike, like I said, we'll go back to Mike. I didn't have any worries when I sent him to shows. I knew it was going to sound good. And I knew that he would take care of it and that he had the passion for doing this.
Right.
And he's still doing it. And he's doing and he's killing, doing some great shows, great tours. Something I thought he would never, ever get into.
Was the last, I think he was doing Doobie Brothers, right?
Well, he just finished the Doobie Brothers tour, or the last tour, but he's doing like Christina Aguilera regularly, and he got in the jazz thing for a long while, and I'm proud of him for
him and Shalini and
all of
the
his
two
accomplishments.
kids
All of his accomplishments, and so like I said, I appreciate everybody who put any time with me,
right.
Everybody who helped me.
Yeah.
Even if it was, here, let me help you load this freaking case into the truck. Back in the day, I had a truck that it was what I could afford. It had no ramp, no lift gate. And back then, every case weighed 300 pounds.
I remember that truck.
Yeah. The Jartran.
Mm-hmm.
And we would load this fucking truck by lifting, humping. You'd learn leverage really quick.
Oh yeah.
And I used to appreciate that at the end of the night. I'd put my hell box. I'd call it my hell box because it had all my cabling and stuff in it, and it weighed a ton. You'd have to stand it up on end, or kind of rock it up against the bumper.
Oh, that's right.
You'd toss one set of wheels into the back of the truck, and then deadlift.
Yep. I remember that. We humped that many times.
Yeah. And I'd strap it to I'd strap it to the side wall. I remember one time I was driving down a highway and the strap came loose, and that case weighed about 700 pounds, and just started slamming into the walls and the back door and stuff.
Yeah.
To where I think it threw the back door off the track.
I was going to ask you, how many main stage shows did you do at Metro?
I did quite a bit in the beginning, and then I was just like, it's not really worth it for me to come in and put all this money of gear in there for the amount of money I was getting paid.
Yeah, because that's a lot of work.
And
that's when Lynn hired Industrial to come in.
Yeah, and it was fine because I was fine with it because, like I said, for me, the money, what he was offering for me to bring in a ton of gear, I could bring a van show.
Plus, you had to have another person doing Monitor World.
Yeah. So I could go do a corporate show, which was where I was leading anyway,
and make triple,
make quadruple. I mean, quite a bit more.
Yeah,
for a lot less gear. And I remember after every main floor show, I'd end up doing tons of repairs.
Yep.
Because everyone just was so aggressive, and they'd kick monitors in, and they'd do.
Well, I remember on the side stage, all the repairs you had to do with the floor monitors.
Yeah. Just there was no barriers. So literally the audience was stepping on the front monitors.
Yeah.
And then all the cables, of course.
Pulling cables out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That side stage made things really difficult. The dungeon was actually, in hindsight, was probably easier to do because people didn't get up on that first step. No. But then the main stage eventually, God, I don't even remember when this happened, but that rail was put in, right?
Yeah.
In front of the main stage.
Of Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when that was put in, and that was such a blessing. We had...
I think that was put in 95.
I don't know, but we had Silverchair there, and that was a big show. It was sold out.
There was a bunch of kids.
And at the time, I had my daughter, who was probably 11. She wanted to go see that show.
That was the parents with the kids night.
She wanted to go see that show. And I remember her being in the...
Frog Stomp.
Yeah. She was in on the other side of the rail. And we were getting crushed. And so I remember Lawrence, security guard, grabbing her and putting her in the security pit.
Yeah.
And so she was literally,
front and center.
Yeah. And so it was so cool because it was my daughter and my niece. I think, like I said, my daughter was probably 11 or 12, and my niece was just a year or two older.
Yeah.
And they loved it. They literally loved it because, at that time, the kids that were playing Silverchair, they were only like 15 or 16.
Exactly.
And, I remember getting some of those other, what turned into big name acts there, Dave Matthews Band playing. And even Hootie and the Blowfish played.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think
there were so many up and coming bands that played there.
There was.
It all became huge.
Yeah.
Wasn't Spice Girl played there?
No.
They did.
No.
I swear to God they did.
No.
Well, the one that I kind of kick myself for, but I don't know, but I had an offer to book Jewel. And I said, I don't think Jewel's, no, she's playing coffee shops in OB.
Yeah.
And then that just skyrocketed.
And then she blew up. Yeah.
Like literally. There's pieces of her everywhere.
I was meant for you.
Is that one of her songs?
Of course.
Okay.
It's the only one anybody knows. and that's a Steve Poltz song.
Yeah,
actually, Steve wrote it, and Steve is awesome.
Yeah,
the Rugburns.
Steve, nor the Rugburns ever played.
Gregory Page and Steve Poltz from the Rugburns.
Yeah,
amazing band. Stinky on drums.
Yeah,
dude.
That's one that never played there. But having Dave Matthews play there, I think my brother came out to that, which was
who there was a big opener for Dave Matthews too. I can't remember. I wasn't at that show. I think I had duty or something that night. But I was working there at that time.
I remember going. I wanted to go see. I went to Dave Matthews. I didn't do the sound, but I went there, and I was amazed by the drummer. Just so fluent, steady, and
that's what I think of Jake.
Well, yeah,
Jake
Nager. Yeah, probably my best friend right now.
Yeah.
We've been friends for a long, long time, and was hoping Jake was going to be here today.
Well, we can hold this against him in a court of law.
Yeah, we will. but yeah, so Jake's a great guy. Anybody knows him? Yeah, amazing drummer.
And what bands has Jake been in?
Everything.
Yeah,
everything.
I just remember him
except for
Bad
Poor.
Credit.
Yeah,
because his brother Jules.
Then he's a session drummer too, right?
Yeah, he does a lot of studio work, and I think he's playing in quite a few bands now. He's not playing as much as they used to, but yeah, I know last week he went up and did a session for like 3 or 4 days. I couldn't tell you who he played with, but.
Well, what's some of the big names that he's played with?
He's played was it TV on the radio, or I don't know. He's played with a couple of hip hop artists, Big Daddy Kane, stuff like that. So just amazing guy.
So you say he's more like a jazz drummer?
No, not at all. Funky. He could play any style and do it well. If you want groove, you call the Nage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And effortless. That's the one thing I've always remembered.
Yeah.
Always remembered. But speaking of, so going back to Union, and Jake, does the hip hop and all that stuff, but we used to have a lot of reggae come through because Makeda Dread would do shows. And then those reggae shows, I mean, that for me back then was a cultural shock. Number one,
Jafakins.
Just being freaking stoned as a kite. And
what reggae shows did you do?
Oh God! So we had Yellow Man. HR came through doing his thing. I was hoping he was going to do more Bad Brain stuff, but he did that. Eka Mouse.
Yeah, I did Eka Mouse after you left. I did there.
And then I think, didn't we do some at Metro? I could swear.
That's what I'm saying. I did Eka Mouse at Metro.
Pato do?
I did Pato Bonton with you at the college, I believe. Yeah, that was an outside gig.
Yeah,
that was a good show, actually.
Yeah, I've worked with Pato many times at like the Belly Up and stuff.
Yeah,
I think he might have done.
A cool guy.
Great guy.
Metro.
He's probably one of the better personalities for radio.
Yeah. I mean. Lately, he's a little bit more spiritual, and he talks a whole lot during the shows. Preaches a little too much, in my opinion. But fun, super, uplifting. I guess all his music is meant to be fun,
right?
To be danceable. Meant,
The problem with reggae artists is you have to provide the backline, and getting that, renting it and setting it up, and then like with Eka Mouse, when I did an Eka Mouse show, he showed up an hour late.
Of course.
And then he wouldn't get off when curfew.
Of course.
So it was really bad.
Yeah.
All those things always make it difficult.
I did Eka Mouse at Adams Avenue Street Fair one time, and a big blood crip thing broke out in the audience. And it was in the park over off of Adams. Mm-hmm. And Eke threw the mic down, and it sounded like a gunshot.
Everybody ducked.
Everybody
Hit the ground.
ran, and cops came in, and pretty much the show was over because he threw the mic on the ground.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off because it was my mic.
Was Zeke wearing the cowboy outfit?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
He was when he played Metro.
Okay. Yeah, well, and he's a good artist also.
Yeah.
You know. He's fun.
Yeah. It was interesting though back when I was a kid
or 8 or
doing those.
Big guy.
Oh yeah. Because another thing too that drove me up a wall is, well, I always had, the devil in my ear, make sure everything's on time when it's, one song left. And I'm sitting there, one song, screaming one song from the side of the stage. And we're trying to keep everything, on schedule.
That was always important with the 6-band build.
Oh, yeah. Especially
5-minute set change.
Yep.
Yeah. And then when we got into the bigger ones and the, sports arena and all that. But when you're dealing with like the reggae bands and basically whenever anyone else came in to do the production, especially downtown, we had to worry about, the curfew and then just.
What did you guys do reggae at Union?
There was a few.
Yeah, there was
a few shows.
Yeah, that's when Makeda would come in.
Would come in and produce shows.
Because I know at Metro we only did 2 rap shows. I know that for a fact.
Oh wow,
that was
too many.
That was Cypress Hill, and then I wasn't at the show, that 91X show with the Insane Clown
Posse, yeah. And then the side stage was robbed. We'll just put it nicely that way. The whole system was stolen. I came in the next morning and it was gone.
Really?
I think I'm the one that I must have been, because I was one opening and closing the place.
Was that that was for Radiohead, ICP, and whose system was that?
Well, the system on the side stage, we call it a side stage at that point. I'm getting everything,
aka the merch area.
Yeah, it that was a rental from somewhere that we just had in there, and then after that I don't remember.
I sold them a bunch of used stuff.
Okay. Yeah, but we were robbed blind.
But it was great because I had the maintenance contract.
Oh, yeah.
Because stuff was blown up on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah. I remember going to when J&S you guys had your, the warehouse.
Yeah.
I would go in there for whatever reason.
Our shop.
And you'd be working on, replacing a speaker or whatever. As a matter of fact, I think one of my cabinets, I got a speaker from you to replace because I
think I gave it to you.
I blew a speaker with my little bass guitar and too much distortion, and I don't know, probably
bass guitar shouldn't have distortion.
That's a sin.
I know.
Every bass should be heavily
play with a pick.
Killing me. That's my whole style. I play it like a guitar.
I know.
To hide how crappy of a bass player I am.
Yeah, let's put distortion on it. Nobody will know if I'm not playing the right note.
Oh, no, that's back when we were doing Meat and we were tuned down. So low that if I farted, the strings would vibrate from the wind. And then the 2 bass players.
Speaking of tuning low, Korn came in and they were tuned to, I think, a D flat.
Several times Korn played.
Yeah. But they tuned so low that their strings were just floppy.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. That was
their
Feldy's style.
Yeah, trying to get all deep.
Yeah.
But and I was like, okay, yeah, big deal to me.
Yeah.
And then they blew up, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
cool. Because I'm really impressed that anybody makes it.
Oh yeah,
I'm happy for them.
Well, think about the '90s. All the bands that came in there, all of them blew up.
Yeah,
yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was literally amazing to where you'd go, okay, these guys are so happy to play SOMA because they're playing for more than 50 people.
Right. Because Korn would be playing Dream Street. And then, because they would play with Gold Spoon at Dream Street in OB.
Yeah.
And then they slowly, it's just like, well, success stories. Just like, you know, when I first started Blink, before Blink 182, I remember looking at books and they would have like 13, because they kept numbers of all the bands for many years. So I knew exactly how many people would bring in.
Well, they weren't a local band, so they're coming out of Bakersfield.
Yeah, sure. So Korn to rise up that way, and then, you know, they paved the way for bands like Deftones and other bands. But
yeah,
and they all played the side stage. All
you
those
did.
bands.
You did Deftones, right?
I did a couple shows at SOMA. I was friends with the guys.
Okay,
in the band back in the day.
Yeah. Who's the guys that you managed?
I went out with Papa Roach.
Okay.
And I was the first one to book them in San Diego.
Yeah.
Papa Roach is huge now.
See, and like I said, all those bands, you see one day at a SOMA.
Yeah.
Side stage.
Yeah, and then boom, they explode.
Yeah,
playing arenas,
and it's nice. It's great to see that.
It was like No Doubt.
The POD guys, the No Doubt.
Blink 182,
Green Day.
Blink. Now, what is it? Travis just married one of the Kardashians.
Yeah,
and
a couple days ago, I think.
Yeah, that'll be a fiasco.
Yeah,
wish him nothing but luck.
Well, maybe he'll be lucky.
Nothing but luck.
Third time,
but but. Jesus Christ.
I still remember the days when Travis was just hanging out in the parking lot when he came in with Aquabats.
Yeah.
Long before he was in Blink.
Yeah. I did a show the other day with Matt, who's playing bass with the Aquabats now. And he was doing a little wedding with the band. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm getting ready to do the Aquabats thing. I can lose some weight so I can fit in that stupid suit."
Wetsuits. Well, it's funny seeing those guys now because they're all old and fat.
It's great. You know? It's great. But I mean,
they used to go to wife's family's restaurant a lot.
Okay.
They were kind of like just family there, and that's where I'd run into them for the first time in years. And then I come to find out that they had the kids show, and you know they took the Aquabats and did a lot of cool shit with it. You know,
they had the cartoon and was it Yo Gabba Gabba or whatever?
Yeah,
it was all Aquabats.
Yeah,
they were at one point when I was working for Golden Voice, they were signed to Golden Voice Records, and I think,
oh wow,
they were trying to push that, but I think it all kind of fell through.
Well, like I said, all the bands who do anything.
Yeah,
who do anything, you know, and accomplish whatever they do. Proud of you guys.
Yeah, we got to see a lot.
Everybody puts in so much effort and
a lot of cool stuff. You know, we watched a lot of bands that just blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
crazy. So
yeah. So what else, Jer?
Well, trying to think of what would one of your favorite shows have been like. Metro, Union. I remember, I think I said this on the first podcast that I did. Typo Negative at Metro. What made that show so stand out? I was intimidated by the singer Peter Steele in advance. I didn't know who he was, nothing. He was such a big guy, and he comes in. And the guy's 6'7" or something, and muscular, and he comes walking in with two girls under each arm. And I thought, oh my God, this guy's going to have such an attitude. And he was so freaking nice. See, it's funny because he was nice at Union, but when they played Metro, he wasn't so cool. I thought at Metro he was great. No, he was so nice to me. They were kind of dicks. Oh man, they really treated me well, and I dug that show. I really did. When they did, I remember they did a cover of "Cinnamon Girl," Neil Young song, and it was so deep and just vibey. That's probably the word I wanted to say. Well, they're kind of like industrial goth. Yeah, but it was so cool. So that was one of the good ones. Then Union Street was Corrosion. Right. Corrosion. Conformity.
Conformity.
Yeah. And that was so hard. And then the singer, I'm not good at names, but the singer, you know, he's all like, and then all of a sudden he comes out and he does this Michael Jackson voice. Hello, I'd like to do a love song. The song's called Masturbation. It was fucking great. I started rolling, man. It was so fun.
Trying to think of if it was Mike singing back then.
Yeah, local bands, you know. I'll bring up Sprung because I think they were one of the best live bands. You know, Steve just put on a show like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
well, they have that groove.
They do. And it was exactly that. A groove. You know, Ernie playing drums.
Well, shit, we just had
Will
in a future
guitar and
we
had PK.
Yeah,
no,
Pat came in and talked with us for a while.
Yeah,
like I say, I think that band still one of the greatest live bands. Still,
I think the Claw brought that up as well.
Yeah,
that was one of his more favorite bands.
Yeah, and I mean he worked with them for quite a while.
Yeah, and now he'll still go out when they need him.
Yeah,
POD. He'll do sound for POD.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The funny thing about POD is that was one of those bands that it wouldn't even came on the radar, except I needed a band, and I don't remember who was there, but it was at the Union Street, and a band had dropped out. I guess I had my pagers. Somehow I knew about it. And then talked to someone in the band. They said, oh, yeah, we got this band, blah, 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 blah. Within, 24 hours notice, they brought in a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Were easy to work with.
Yep.
Really respectable. And then they just shot up from there.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I appreciated about when I was doing it in the early days is when bands would actually work with us. Because, we were all kind of like a tight-knit family anyways. And the only way to really make it work is if everyone did their thing and cooperated.
It was neat to see that they brought in that Christian crowd.
Yeah.
When they were kind of the San Diego's rap metal, sound at that time.
Again, great band. And then when I realized who they actually were, I knew like Sonny and Wove's dads. I grew up with them.
Right.
And so they were good friends of my brother.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
didn't know that.
But yeah, so I knew them since I was a little kid. And it was really neat. And then, seeing them literally catapult.
Right.
Really, really quickly.
Right.
They went from, I know that Wove's dad had a record label, Rescue Records.
Right. Yeah.
And then they got signed to the big label.
They got signed to, I think it was Mercury, right?
I think so, but I don't know. But they got signed and did really, really well.
Didn't they do an MTV New Year's Eve or something?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
I remember just seeing something on TV being like,
and I was hurt.
Crap.
And I was hurt because I wasn't there. I wanted to be there,
Right.
Like I said, I've always found that I catch bands on the way up and the way down.
Well, it's like I booked them. They opened for Cypress Hill at Metro. Okay. I booked them on that.
Okay.
And I still remember the days when Marcos worked at was it CD Trader, and he also worked at Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Right.
I seen Marcos a few weeks ago, and I did OB St. Patrick's Day, and he came out to see one of the bands. And it was good to see him because I hadn't seen him in a few years. We're friends on Facebook and all that,
mm-hmm.
but I hadn't seen him, so it was really good to see him. Hey, brother, how's it going?
He's still down in
Chula Vista.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because that whole scene, which I talked about before, that whole Chula Vista scene just had like energy, and they were some of the greatest bands to work with.
Yeah,
well, they were all
fun bands.
The Chula Vista crowds were really more laid back than versus the Poway crowd.
They were.
Right.
Yeah.
Much easier.
The Poway crowd was more oi, 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 oi.
Party,
Yeah.
whereas Chula Vista was more chill and laid back.
Yeah.
Totally respectable.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
And supportive
I used to work at a music store in Chula Vista for quite a while. And so I'd get all these kids coming in playing their first electric guitar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Garza's Music. That's where I worked for quite a while. And then they had Magic Mike, who was the main guy there, salesperson, but great guitar player too. But I remember all these kids coming in, you know, and they'd buy these guitars and you try to upsell them a little bit. Here, this guitar is okay, but for an extra $50, you're going to get a way better guitar.
And a better sound, which in essence will make you feel better when you're...
Yeah, I mean, it'll be something that you'll actually want to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just, I'm going to buy the cheapest thing I can.
I'm going to get this Epiphone. No, you should get this Les Paul.
Back then we were selling a lot of, I got to even think of what they were. But they were cheap guitars.
Right.
But then, like I said, for a little bit more money, you were able to buy a nicer guitar that would stay in tune.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's not like Jack White that he doesn't mind. He gets the craziest guitars, or he used to when he was younger.
Yeah. But I'm sure he's putting good machines on them and changing nuts.
Well, Jerry and I had come across an interview. It's more modern, and he looks older. It's the craziest thing, but I've seen earlier stuff, and I remember just seeing him play when Jerry and Scott had opened up the newer SOMA. I went to that. And were you still there?
Yeah, I actually hung out with Jack White, and totally cool dude.
And his whole thing was he would get the crappiest guitars, and he didn't care. He would make it work.
Well, they were disposables.
Yeah,
that was.
But he had the talent to do it.
That was for the White Stripe show, and that was probably in. I think that was in 2003.
Yeah. But yeah, so back to the Chula Vista thing. Like I said, I used to work at this music store, and I'd see all these kids come in, and within a few months, they'd fucking sit there and they'd come in to just play a nicer guitar, and they'd be shredding. And I'd be like, damn, who's teaching you? Who's teaching all these kids? All the other kids were teaching them. So everyone was just like learning off everybody else.
Yeah. That's how the scene was being built.
It was such a cool...
they were honing their craft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool feel. And like I said, even SOMA, SOMA did so much for the music scene in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
That was the scene.
It was. It really was.
There really wasn't.
They
any
opened
other
up
scene.
Epicenter and
because even
these other places,
even like the Casbah. I think we've talked about this, and they did that documentary. It's Gonna Blow. Those bands were playing for like 200 people. They're playing the bars. They weren't playing for the kids that wanted to see these bands play. And that's what we did we had all the kids, and that's where the scene is with the kids. And the bands that played SOMA actually got much more popular than the bands that played the bars. Yeah. Some of those bands got signed, but they really didn't go anywhere.
Right.
No, but like I said, the bands who did go somewhere, I feel proud that
we were
I
part of
had
that.
a little part of it.
Right.
We did. We totally did.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially with the San Diego bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely there's a lot of pride in that. And it came out of literally organically nothing.
Well, where was Green Day signed? What was that Union that they got signed to the major label, or was that a Metro?
I think it was Metro.
94 at Metro.
Or in the crossover. Again, I've told this story many times, but, I'm going through my closet and my friend calls me up and asks me to book them, and,
Because I know I've seen some of the video from the Union days when Green Day looked like a bunch of hippies.
Yeah.
They all had long hair, and they didn't look like punk rockers.
No. So I think they kind of grew. I think it was Metro, like the early days of Metro.
94.
Yeah. And then, but then I'm trying to think of
Because they played the Halloween show, basically your birthday shows, the Halloween shows.
I think so.
And you're the first one to book them, right?
Yeah. Well, down here.
Yeah.
Because they were playing with they were playing up in Berkeley. And I don't remember the first one, but they were excuse me, they were known as the holiday band.
For us.
So we would, Valentine's Day.
I'm surprised they never played New Year's.
I could swear they did. Because we didn't always do the sports arena. I think we did one or two do you remember at Union? Did we do New Year's?
We did.
Near the end?
I want to say one or two, yeah.
But you guys never did, at Union, you never did sports arena. Sports arena didn't happen until Metro opened.
Yeah, when Len even brought that up about doing it, I was like, what? Freaking sports arena? I went to see Iron Maiden there.
I'd see
Metallica there.
I did every New Year's Eve show, except for the first one.
I never did any of them. I never went to any of them.
You were lucky.
At the sports arena. There was no reason for it.
That was too much work.
I wasn't making any money.
Oh, neither were we.
So I'd go do a corporate gig and make.
We were working 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And sometimes we had a rave the day before.
Was it the day after?
No, day before we'd do a rave and then had to go over to the sports arena at 4 in the morning and then get out till 4 in the morning.
Remember when you guys did some of the raves at Metro that just lasted forever?
Well, that's the main reason why I had to get out. I
think we started those. I think doors would open at 8 in the evening, and then we wouldn't get out there till like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm still cleaning up the freaking lot, and I'm, at 7 in the morning.
And we were like zombies.
Yeah, and then have to come back to do like a show the next day.
You know what? I take it back. We did Megadeth one time before the New Year's Eve show. So we had Megadeth.
Oh.
And then we did a New Year's Eve show the following day.
Oy. Yeah, and then also during that time period, well, going back to Union, we that's when Landon came up with the Summer Slams. So that's when we would stack a bunch of bands. But then that slowly came into the New Year's.
But those were like local bands that were putting on the main stage. So it's like 6 bands on the main stage.
No, there was like 10 bands.
Where we usually do the 6 bands on the side stage.
Yeah. I think we would throw in
we were
Green Day on one of those.
If you think about it, we were the only venue that would do 6 bands. Nobody else did that.
Yeah. And my whole thing was basically just doing the local bands. And anyone that knows the structure, you play with me, you start off in the dungeon, and then you get up to the main stage. And then that's when Len starts booking you more. And so it was just a way of developing the bands and developing the scene. So then, we would bring in a major act to help grow the scene. But my emphasis was always just like the local stuff.
Sure. So
as we slowly started growing that more and more, then we started getting more notoriety. And then I remember Len saying once how, he has to get up super early in the morning because New York is not on our time. And I'm like, well, that's fine. Get up at 8 to deal with, calls from New York for bands being booked.
I'll just be going to bed.
Yeah. I'm drinking my beer. And
that was probably out of doing the venue, booking bands was probably the hardest job out of doing anything else, really.
Well, yeah, just getting a successful lineup.
Yeah.
And going, are we gonna have 50 people at the show or are we gonna have 500?
And then trying to plan it out and set up the show and just, come out of thin air with this show that, trying to make it the best show possible.
Yeah. There's a science to it too. And we've talked about it before. We'll have Silas on because Silas used to help me in the beginning. Because I would have all these demos, and I would just think in my mind, okay, this band with this band. And the idea is to try to pull in bands that are cohesive.
You know how Jerem did it, right? He'd pull demos out of a hat. Oh, yeah.
No.
We're going to do this show. All right.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to do this band.
No, it was way more articulate than that. And I hated listening to, I didn't want to listen to a whole demo because it didn't make any sense to me.
It's got to catch you.
Yeah.
So I mean, even when people would give me CDs,
10%.
or whatever, I would listen to the beginning and
usually they'd put the best song on the first track.
Well, no, I mean, I would listen to every track. I would actually listen to every track. But if you didn't catch me in the first 20 seconds,
you're done.
Next. Next.
Yeah.
Next. And then.
Well, that's what, like I was saying, 10%. I mean, 10% of the demos were good.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I would put in a CD or something and I'd let it play through and it'd just be background. And all of a sudden I'd go, what is that?
Well, we did
and
that.
And it become my favorite song.
We did that a lot when we were ringing out the PA and we played people's demos just to, hey, let's play something different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's...
I remember going into SOMA and I was a huge Lyle Lovett fan.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to play.
You always rung out with Lyle Lovett.
I'd freaking ring out my PA with "Here I Am" because it was really dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know who Lyle Lovett is, he's kind of a country big bandish guy, and he has a song called "Here I Am,"
who was once married to Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, exactly. But so he's got this one song that's real dynamic. It goes from a whisper to a big horn section type thing, back down to a cool, smooth thing. So really dynamic.
And he kind of like was talking on some of that stuff too.
Hi, I'm the guy who sits next to you and reads the newspaper over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Wait, don't turn the page. Life is so uncertain. Boom. Dude. Boom. So I would literally set up my PA and that would be the first song on.
Well, that's what when we had Mike in the Claw. That's what I brought that up. I go, Sammy used to ring out with Lyle Lovett.
Yeah, and I loved it. It was really. I seen him many, many times live, and he's awesome. So if you don't mind trying something new, always go see Lyle. He will never disappoint. Super dry humor in between songs. Super dry.
Yeah.
But amazing as a singer-songwriter.
And I think because of the passion that you have and respect for his music, and you understanding that song so well, when that's on and you're dialing in the room, because you have to do that. Again, we were talking about the temperature changes and everything. There's a lot of dynamics that change. That's another reason why there's so many of the little things that just made going to the show make sense. We might be worried about, say Flipper's coming in. Have no idea how it's going to go. But the certain little things, the little steps that were taken, the ringing out the system, making sure the room is clean, whatever, me taking out trash cans, whatever it is, these little rituals helped get us in the mood. Security starts coming in. Mike comes in and, fart sounds.
And I'd
yelling out.
Hand you the mic and say, just say anything you want from back in the board. Say anything you want. And if I could hear you and it sounded like you, I knew I dialed in right.
Yeah.
And then Mike with his deep.
Yeah, we got to bring up Nevison. Nevison wasn't just a security guard; he actually did sound too.
Yeah, he did a lot of the side shows. He did at Metro
and
the dungeon. I never did it. I never did one show in the dungeon.
I never even went to the dungeon.
I went there,
a show there,
but I never did sound at the dungeon.
When I played the dungeons, the only time when I played, it's the only time I believe my mom went and the older of the two sisters went, and maybe her husband. Other than that,
the only time I was in the dungeon was I snuck down there and hung out with Kevin Seconds when 7 Seconds played.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Lynn came down there. He's like, "Who the fuck's down here?" Blah blah blah.
Oh, yeah.
And Kevin's like, "Oh no, they're cool. They're good.
Well,
go on."
Yeah.
Remember STP did that video,
Wicked Garden.
Wicked Garden.
Yep.
That was amazing. It was amazing.
That was a long fucking day. That's what that was.
But that was still amazing.
That annoyed the hell.
Of playing the same song hour after hour.
Well, it's just I had nothing really to do except I think I'm in it, but they have me as an extra, and I'm like, I'm not here to. I gotta watch the club. I'm not here to be a fucking extra.
Those music videos for people that have never experienced being in a music video, they they're long days, really long days. Some they'll shoot for 3 days.
Oh yeah.
And I've been in a couple and I've worked on a couple.
Yeah.
And they're so boring. So boring.
I did one because of that, which is kind of funny. The Wild Colonials, they went to Metro, and or not Metro. They didn't go to Metro. It was a local talent agent. I can't remember what her name was, but she was looking for local talent for a Wild Colonials video.
Well, they wanted somebody to look like a punk rocker.
Yeah. So they got myself, Charmaine, and Ronnie from the Excrements. And it was just, we spent all day on the shoot. We ended up, started in God, what is it? Mission Beach area. Ended up in downtown. And all it is from the whole day of shooting, and I got my $75. Taxes taken out.
I was going to ask you if we got paid for that.
Yeah, and so did Ronnie and Charmaine.
I got paid for one video. Bill Silva paid me $100 for Unwritten Law, Teenage Suicide at Metro. We shot at Metro.
Oh yeah, and this video is just me getting out of a cab. I got my hawk up, bondage pants, and my jacket on.
Your 2 seconds of fame,
and it wasn't even any fame from that. As a matter of fact. God, I don't know if anyone even...
They probably showed that video twice on MTV.
I've never seen it.
And then the band
not many people
The band just disappeared. Nobody even knows who the band is.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting being part of the process, and then whoever the talent agent was, she wanted to start this whole file of local punkers to use for film and video, and so that was kind of cool. And all that came from, having the club there.
Yeah.
A lot of weird things that came out of there. I was a pseudo celebrity for a while there. My mailman had me sign the cover of the Union Tribune when I was in that, and because if you guys remember, I used to always wear a mailman's hat.
Yeah,
he gave me an actual one, so I was stoked. I had to give him my signature, and he gave me a mailman's hat. And people would ask me, "You work for the post office?" Do you think they would hire someone that looks like me? I had more metal on my face than a catfish that's been caught 14 times.
Well, after Metro closed down, I had to go work for the post office, so I was a mailman for about a year. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, before we opened SD, I was a mailman. Yep. Wow. Worst job ever.
Really?
Yeah, I'd rather go back in the military than work at the post office.
But you didn't go postal.
I didn't go postal, luckily.
I had to, from Union to Metro, I ended up, went back to landscaping and did that for a little bit. And then, yeah, eventually.
So it was a growing business.
It was.
No.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to start my lawnmower now.
Yeah.
Which is funny that, when I left Metro, that was the plan, basically what it was I just couldn't handle, because of the raves, as we were circling back to the raves. I couldn't handle the raves. I just didn't like the way that things were running at the club. It wasn't so much, I don't know. I kind of outgrew it.
It became business.
Well,
it became business.
It became hard for me to...
Well, you started getting bitter at the end there.
Yeah.
You didn't want to deal with anybody anymore, and it was just bad. You needed a break from it.
Yeah, I was in a bad place. I got tired of being walked on. It's like, look, this is my life. I'm getting yelled at, by Len. Trying to deal with things. I'm drinking way too much, to be honest. But the bands were treating me like crap. I wasn't able to really develop anything. There was nothing new. It became so repetitive, and just the raves were rough, long hours. Because that's all I did. So I tried to go back to school for landscaping. I realized I can't go to college. This is not my place. So I went back into landscaping, which is what I am back doing now and have been for a few years. But yeah, the transition from club to club while Metro was being built, that was a weird one. So the Scottish Rite Center.
Well, before you transition, we need to bring up with Sammy. Sammy, you've been pretty much sound your whole life.
Yeah.
Did you have to do anything when COVID hit? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, I did so many odd jobs. I did some live streams. You know, whatever I could pick up. I was moving pianos.
That's right.
I was painting houses, and then I was delivering food to homeless.
I think I remember that, talking about that.
And just trying to make a buck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just trying to survive, and I've never been afraid to work. All of these jobs that I mentioned I hadn't done in quite a while.
Right.
So just all that moving and it was pretty difficult. But I survived. I came close to. I used up all my savings and whatnot. So I was right on the edge, like to the day. How am I going to pay my bills this month? To the day,
yeah,
something would come through. So I've always been blessed, and I'll say that blessed to whenever I've ever had needs, they've always been met.
Because we're hard workers, and
because we're not just
we don't have our hands
laying
out
down. We're just we're not laying down and hoping somebody's going to hand us money.
Exactly.
And I could have went. I honestly could have, being a small business owner, for my sound company, I could have went and got PPE money and all that other stuff, taken out loans, but I don't like that either.
Right.
Because I hate monthly bills. So I knew that would have to get paid back eventually.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have to go that avenue, why?
Right. Put yourself in more debt when that's what you're climbing out of.
I know a lot of guys who did get loans, and all they did was buy some real cool gear, which is going to help them down the road, and it's helping them now. But for me, I just didn't take that route.
See, with the COVID, I was lucky. I was essential because I work in the fueling industry, and gas stations didn't shut down.
Yeah.
So, I'm doing the environmental side. So the other thing is protecting the environment.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to have that where I was working every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I luckily was mowing lawns, and
You're essential.
Yeah.
well,
I want to
know
And I felt so bad for all my friends that are in the entertainment industry.
that, yeah.
'Cause tours were canceled. I mean,
Well,
venues closed down.
I went
Yeah.
from 2019. I did about 320 shows, down to nothing.
Exactly. I mean, look
320 shows for the year.
Yeah.
at
and
Chain
down to
Reaction in Anaheim. That venue's gone.
Yeah. And now everything reopened up June of last year. And since then I've been doing close to 40 shows a month.
So yeah, almost,
So
every day you have basically a gig or double gig.
double gigs.
Double on the weekend.
And so Friday, Saturday, Sunday I have doubles every week. And I'm working almost every single day. So this year I'm planning on doing about 450 shows this year.
That's good.
And so to say that I don't like music, no, I absolutely love music.
yeah.
And again, that's why I'm in this industry, in this business.
Well, that's why we all did it,
I get to meet so many great people. There's that old thing, because of music, I met so many nice people. Well, guess what I have?
Yeah.
And, you guys are my friends and will remain my friends no matter what.
Yeah.
I know we didn't see each other, and all of us, we all went our separate ways.
We did.
Didn't see each other for decades. And
when we did that podcast, the last podcast that I was on, it was like we didn't skip a beat.
Exactly.
We came together as friends. Mikey was there. The two of you, Noel did a podcast before mine,
Yeah.
but he hung out.
And we watched him last night. He played at the Belly Up.
See, a great thing. Great thing.
Yeah.
And you know,
It's giving me chills right now just thinking
and
about it.
like I said, friends, stay close.
Yeah.
And if you don't see each other, you know, true friends will always come back and
Pick up where we left off.
It's like you don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you guys, you know,
Absolutely.
for always being there and being silly mofos. And so appreciate you guys.
No, thank you.
Appreciate you. Is this it? Are we done?
Well,
Are you tired?
anyway, no, yeah. I got to go to work tonight. Still.
Work? What's that?
So yeah, I have 2 shows today. So
Well, we appreciate you coming down, Sammy.
yeah, thank you guys.
Get the catch up.
You're the
Yeah.
best.
It has
Sammy.
been a while.
Everybody,
Love you, brother.
everybody, go out and see a live show
Yeah.
and actually buy a T-shirt.
Support the local musician.
Support.
Actually.
You know, don't get in free.
Buy the
Yes.
CD.
Well, whatever you can do, but
Every little bit
you know,
helps.
patronize the place you go to. Buy a beer, buy some food,
Yeah.
whatever it is, because that's what
Buy
keeps
some
bands
merch.
playing.
Well, it got scary with COVID, and let's, you know,
But
we have the power to make sure that we uplift.
yeah,
So support your local bands.
yeah.
Sammy, love you.
Love you too, buddy.
Yeah, much love, bro.
Thanks, guys. Fuck, we did.
This podcast was recorded at Red Rum Skates. Mixed by me, Jer. Music provided by Breakacre. We appreciate all our listeners and our guests. Please stay tuned till the next one. Have a great one. Bye.